What's up, you guys? This is For the Femmes, and we have another exciting episode this week with our guest, Katie.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming. How are you doing today? Are you nervous?
I am nervous.
Don't be.
Yeah.
But I'm
It's
excited.
just some girls chatting on the couch. Or just putting a glass of wine in your hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no. You need to envision that.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how long have you been in New York for? Is that where you're originally from?
No, I am from LA originally.
Oh.
And I moved here for school. I go to NYU, so I've been here now for 3 years. And yeah,
Oh my gosh. Do you like New York?
I love New York.
Mm.
I do not plan on leaving anytime soon.
Yeah, I know New York's the best. I love it.
I always compare people that have been in LA and New York. Like, what do you like better?
It's hard. I love
Not fully a city girl yet.
where I'm from in LA is like Redondo Beach area, like very cute beach town, still semi-walkable, which I love. And I think eventually when me and my partner decide to have kids, we would love to settle down there. But at least like for this time in my life, I couldn't live anywhere else.
Yeah. You know, there's such a difference in people of LA transplants I don't particularly like, but people who are born and raised in LA are like definitely good people. So,
Yeah, I would
get
have
it.
to agree with that.
yeah. It's the people, it's like all the people who were bullied when they were younger, like moved to LA. And then it's just all these insecure, like weirdos.
I agree. Yeah, the like West Hollywood area and
Yeah.
a lot of people that I think tend to locate there.
Yeah.
Not my favorite, but yeah.
That's where I lived and it was not good. So
I still can't believe you. Like, you in LA that was a new, different era of you.
no, it was.
She was like blonde, like platinum blonde.
Yeah.
Okay, so, like-
she was feeling the LA vibe out there for sure.
It was crazy.
Do you both live here now?
Yeah.
both live here. We're
And
both East Coast girls, actually.
okay,
Yeah, born and raised.
I love that.
But I would love to get into a little bit of your coming out story. The whole process. Was it easy? Was it hard? Give us the lowdown.
So my coming out process was honestly pretty easy and seamless. I didn't have like one defining moment where I was like, oh my gosh, I like girls. But my whole life grew up idolizing actresses, models, confusing that with, do I want to look like them? Do I want to be with them?
Story of my life.
Yes.
All of us.
Yes.
Like,
Like the Victoria's Secret fashion show. Like, why am I so passionate about this?
Why do I love it so much? It's not the fashion.
But then, and I used to kind of like talk to my dad a lot and be like, oh, what if I'm gay? And he's like, then you're gay. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
doesn't really change anything, which was great. And I'm very blessed to have the parents that I do. And then in high school, I finally was like, you know what? I want to start actually dating girls. Like, I want to experiment with this. And pretty much from there forth, I was like, okay, yeah, I like girls. This makes a lot more sense. I had a lot of male relationships in my early high school years. And not that they weren't like they just didn't make sense. You know, I was always like, there's something missing, there's something wrong with me or with these boys. But then I started dating girls and I was like, okay, this is right.
This feels right.
Yeah.
How was it being open in high school? Because I wasn't open in high school. You were pretty
Yeah.
open, actually. But
Yeah.
we grew up in towns where it wasn't that accepted. So how was it for you?
I was the only gay girl.
Yeah.
You?
So I had kind of a unique high school experience. I went to 3 total high schools.
Okay.
And when I came out, it was during the pandemic. So everything like school was virtual.
Oh, that's right.
And I had kind of a tumultuous high school experience before I even came out. And so I think in a way that kind of prepared me where I was kind of like, I don't really give a fuck about any like what anyone thinks anymore based on like previous circumstances. It was awesome in a lot of ways where a lot of girls reached out to me like coming out but not
I thought you meant, I was like, oh yeah, I get it, girl.
Yeah, I was like, okay. Everyone's like, oh, if I want to get that.
Yeah, you came out when like being gay was cool.
yeah, like
Yeah.
literally during like the like TikTok era,
Yeah.
like, when it was really blowing up.
Like if you were on TikTok during that time and you liked girls, you were automatically famous.
Like you were good.
Yeah.
You were set. You were set.
It's so funny.
And especially being in LA, I got to meet a ton of girls who lived in LA that were gay.
Yeah.
I met so many friends. I was really easy to talk to a lot of girls, like romantically and date in LA. So I think that made it easier. I definitely did have some residual like ex-boyfriends or people from my old high school. I think another weapon for them to use against me or just,
Loser.
Yeah. high school.
Literally losers.
But for the most part, it was honestly really awesome. And I kind of felt empowered being one of the only people out in my hometown. And especially now, a couple years later, how many people have come out since then.
Yeah.
So it does give me a little bit of like pride in my younger self. Like, oh, you did it, queen.
You are so emotionally mature. I can just tell by the way that you speak and the way that you carry yourself. So you're 21, right?
Yes.
Crazy.
So
Like,
crazy.
that's mind-blowing because you just carry yourself so well. And you're married.
Yes.
Should we get into that?
Yeah. What? How?
Yeah.
First of all, let's meet when you meet your partner, and also getting married that young. I remember growing up, I was like, I'm gonna be married, have a kid by 24. I could not even imagine having I don't know, I mean, a ring on my finger right now. I'm like, oh my God. Asked me a year ago. Me and Faith and we're completely different. We're like, I want rings. We're ready.
Okay, wow.
So I get it, but now that it didn't work out, I'm like, I'm never getting married.
I'm never dating again.
I'm like, I'm never getting in a relationship again. I'm going to be asexual.
I definitely get that response a lot. And I've also been there. Like after my first serious girlfriend, I was like, I would love to like actually never be into girls ever again. Like I cannot survive this.
Girls' heartbreak is the worst.
Yeah.
It's way worse.
Can't an event.
Horrifying.
But when I got to, it was my first weekend of college, actually. Like I had one day of classes and I had literally just, not in the like toxic way, but I had blocked my ex-girlfriend that day, like on socials. And I was like, I love you so much, but I'm starting this new journey of my life. And we were already broken up prior, but she was going through some things and I was trying my best to do what I could to help like save her in a way. But I was like, okay, yeah, no, like I'm in college. I cannot like afford to fuck up my mental health more so than it already was. And so I was just kind of sitting in my dorm room, bummed out, and my roommate was like, you should go out. And I was like, you know what? I should. And one of my other roommates was like curious at the time, thought she liked girls, but had never experienced it. So I'm like, hey, let's go to a gay bar.
Where did
what
you
bar?
go?
We went to Henrietta's.
Yeah, I think it definitely attracts a younger crowd.
Yeah, it's like all like college.
Lesbian.
Yeah.
So funny. I used to go there when I was like 17. Don't tell anyone.
Well, I was 18.
Yeah.
They're such rebels. Today, wait, speaking about being rebels, today Phelan told me she's never stolen anything from a store.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's like, yeah, I've stolen from Target.
All the time. In high school, I would steal from Target all the time.
I got caught stealing from Sephora in middle school.
Stop. My sister got caught stealing from it was when CDs used to be a thing. Like my sister's older.
CDs.
And she got caught twice. She was banned from all Walmarts. Like
being banned from Walmart is like another
crazy.
level of like.
Also, you got caught once. Like also, you're gonna get fucking caught stealing CDs. Like at least it being good.
I
know
Oh my
CDs.
God.
Yeah, a little bit on the
Late
very
night
drinking
drinking. You guys are crazy.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Maybe I'll steal something today.
maybe
Just kidding.
Feel that thrill.
Oh my God.
you have to check it off at least
Yeah.
once. Yeah, at least once.
You guys went to Henrietta's.
Yes, and there was a really long line, like probably an hour wait. Yeah, it was insane. I think it was because of
You were
we
down
waited.
bad.
We were.
You were
I was
down
like,
bad.
no, like I'm going to make out with a hot girl tonight. I'm gonna forget my woes. But now my now wife was in line in front of me, and immediately I was like, okay, shit. And her friend, she was with her friend, and I was with my friend, and we start talking. And I think the first thing she said to me was like London or New York. I had no idea what the context was, but I looked at her and I was like, well, if it's about where to live, like New York, like be here. And then we just started talking. She asked me how old I was. She was like, are you 23? Like you carry yourself so mature. And I was like, oh no, like I'm 21. Cause I was like, oh, I'm 18 years old at a bar. I was like, no, I'm 21. And she's like, wow, like I can't believe that. And we end up going in. And at first I didn't know, I couldn't tell if she was into me. Because I am very feminine and, I understand that's not everyone's type. So
I feel that way too. Do you feel that way?
All the time.
Yeah,
It's really-
I'm always like, am I gay enough?
I always
people,
say I feel like I'm not gay.
it can be very invalidating as
Weird.
well. Yeah.
It's like some people love femmes and you're like, oh, cool, I'm a femme. And then I'm like, oh, am I not?
Mm-hmm.
It's like weird.
It is.
Yeah.
Balancing that.
I'm glad you feel that way too.
I feel, especially like when we go, I always say when we go to like gay bars and stuff, I always feel so out of place. Even though like I've literally been gay for so long, I still feel out of place every time because I'm like, I feel like I just like look like I'm not like wanted or welcome here or something. I'm like, I swear I'm gay.
I'm like, maybe I need like an eyebrow piercing or something.
No, literally. I'm always like, guys, like I haven't.
Don't tell her that. She really next time she's drunk, she really will get that.
No, I would. Sorry.
Sorry.
No, I wouldn't do a face piercing on my face personally. But yeah, no. Anyway.
No, but yeah, it's a struggle.
Yeah.
But so I went up to her friend and I was like, am I her type? Yes or no? And she's like, go for it. So I was like, that's all I need.
Green light, baby.
That's all I need. And then we ended up talking like in the little booth they have in like one of the rooms. We talked and sat there for like 4 hours. Like literally just talked about everything.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, it was so intense. I was like, what?
I can't imagine liking someone.
No, being out at Henrietta's and finding someone
For
able to
4
talk
hours
is crazy.
No, and anytime like we've
So funny.
gone back sporadically here and there, not really in the past like year and a half. But every time we go there, we're like, how the fuck did we meet each other here? Like looking around.
It's cute.
Like, okay. We did. And so yeah, we just talked all night. I did not plan on like getting into anything serious, right? My first semester of college.
Yeah.
Especially coming out of like a very toxic, tumultuous situation. But I felt so bad. Like she walked me home that night and I was living in the dorm. So I literally was like, oh, like this is fine. Like 14th Street's totally okay. Like I want you to get home safe. I'm like, you cannot fucking see the NYU flag that's like hanging in front of my dorm.
Stop.
But so we said goodnight. It was great. And then the next morning,
Did you guys kiss on the first?
Yes, we did. We did.
They were in the booth for 4 hours. They probably had.
I don't know.
Yeah, babies in the booth.
Wait.
It was she's like such a gentlewoman though. And she's not American, and not that I think that's always going to lead to this, but she's very traditional and like very well mannered, more so than I've experienced like with my other dating experiences. Yeah. So she like asked if she could kiss me. It was it was very sweet. Wow. It was cute.
That's cute.
But yeah, then the next day I felt awful because I was like, whoa, I just totally lied about my age, said I was a junior in college. Have had one class in college so far. And so
one class.
One class.
That's funny.
So I was like, I lied about something. I'm so sorry. And she's like, oh shit, like she's in love with her ex or something. And I was like, no, I'm 18. And she was 25 when we met. And she was like, oh my God, like you're a child. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, please don't feel betrayed or anything. Like it wasn't malicious. And she was like, no, like you're super young. And I would just love to be your friend. And like, you know, she was only in New York for like 2 months at that time, just on kind of like an extended vacation, was working from home. And
Where
was
is she
living
from?
Mexico originally.
Okay.
And so I told her like, yeah, I'd love to be friends. And she's like, let me introduce you to people I know here. I want you to have like a support system.
I don't want to be friends. No.
No,
and it was like,
kissed. I don't want to be friends.
Like, you did it. We're already married. We kissed. What the fuck are you talking about?
It was like that scene in Wolf of Wall Street where Margot's like, we're not going to be friends. Like that was me.
Yeah.
I was like, no. But we did take things very slow. Like we still, I mean, in the lesbian world, like we saw each other still at least once a week, went on like dates that lasted 8 hours.
Just normal friends.
Just normal
you know,
friend
just
things,
friends.
you know, like, oh, like let's go get dinner, hang out. Truly. But we really, like, we knew, like, we're not dating. This is probably not going to turn into dating. She's like, you're so young, live your life.
Yeah.
But then after 2 months of kind of going on dates and just honestly, like, falling in love, that's when we spent our first night together. So we did take things very slow.
Yeah.
And everything was on my terms, which I really appreciated. Because one, I'm like, if you're older and you're seeing someone younger, especially someone just starting a brand new chapter of their life, if you're wanting to dictate how things go, I do think that's a red flag.
100%.
So yeah, then we started getting more serious and I was like, fuck, I'm falling in love with this girl. And I really was trying hard to not lead with my heart and lead with my mind because I had done that previously, ended horribly. So I was like, no, I'm going to be smart with this. But eventually when it was coming time to when she was leaving, I was like, I need to tell her I'm in love with her. And I don't know what's going to happen, but like, this has been amazing. And at least like I've had this experience with healthy love. So the night before she left, we were walking down by, like in FIDA area, the little like piers there.
Like Seaport?
Yeah, Seaport. And I was like, I'm in love with you and I'm going to miss you a lot. And this sucks. But I'm so happy that I met you. And it was like the most beautiful, heartbreaking feeling I had experienced in that moment. Like we were sobbing, like, but again, like I had never experienced that. I had only experienced like the far extreme of a toxic relationship. And she was like, you know what? We'll see each other in a couple years. Like, I can't wait to hear how everything's going for you, what you're going to accomplish. And then she left. We had the most dramatic goodbye, like went all the way to security with her in the airport. We're like sobbing. Like it was truly like out of a movie. And then I just started FaceTiming her after she left. And we kind of started falling into the pattern of a long distance relationship. And then I asked her if she wanted to come visit me in Arizona when I was there for winter break. And she was like, yeah, I'd love to. And during then, like she met my parents and honestly a lot of my extended family because it was my like grandma's 80th birthday and they like all my cousins were there and I was like, well, shit, guys, like this isn't even my official girlfriend, but here she is.
You're gonna meet them all.
You're gonna meet them all. And then again, to be dramatic and follow on theme, when I was driving her to the airport, I left her a letter and I was like, will you be my girlfriend? Yes or no? Because we still weren't official. And that is how we started dating. Yeah.
So when was this? Like
this was
2020?
This was 2021.
Okay.
Like December 2021. So we met September for like 3 months. We're just seeing each other, seeing how things were going, and then started dating. And I guess it was January 17th, to be precise, of 2023.
Oh my God.
Of 2022.
I knew what you meant. Yeah, no, you're good. You're
The
good.
years talking stuff.
So
But
sweet.
yeah.
During this time when you guys were like unofficial, were you seeing other people or was your mind just like always on her the whole time?
I was still like talking to other people. I only hooked up with one other person during that time. And that was like purely for like a selfish reason, like why I did it in that moment. But other than that, like I really like I'm a very monogamous person. And if I'm starting to fall in love with someone, it is so hard for me to talk to other people. Or even if I just really like someone, it takes so much energy to, especially with girls, you know, it's like, tell me your entire life story. Like, let's trauma bond and share all of this. And I just did not have the capacity to do that. So I kind of slowly stopped talking to other people just when I realized, like, what's the point? I know I'm in love with this girl.
What's your sign?
I'm an Aries.
I knew it.
Oh my God.
I knew it. I was like, this is
What month?
I'm April.
Okay,
I
thank
knew
God.
you were an April.
Holy
Aries.
shit.
Yeah.
You're a pass.
I knew it.
Caitlin knows
I knew it.
Aries are just, they are my bad
I'm
luck
an April
charm.
Aries.
So
She's like, yeah.
what are your guys' signs?
I'm an Aries.
You're an Aries. April?
Yeah.
When's your birthday?
April 4th.
I'm April 2nd.
That's my mom's birthday.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe someone else was April 2nd, I feel like.
That we had on, I know.
Yeah.
Wait, that's wow. What's your moon and rising?
My moon is Leo
Okay.
and my rising's a Cancer.
Okay.
What's
That
yours?
makes sense. I'm a Leo rising and an Aries moon.
Oh, you guys are
Girl,
very
we get each other.
similar.
I get it.
Yeah.
I knew you were fucking Aries. You walked
You guys
in,
give
your
me
energy.
very
I was
similar
like,
vibes.
Thank
Aries.
For being young. Like, I don't know. You
Yeah.
guys have like the same.
Yeah, I get it. I get you,
Okay.
girl.
you get it.
How did the engagement happen?
Yeah,
Were you
like,
guys still long
what was
distance? Like,
that?
yeah, get us to the next
Yeah.
step of that after she said yes to being your girlfriend.
Because she is from Mexico.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So we were long distance for about 9 months once we started dating. And that was hard as it is, but I will say I think it established a foundation of trust and communication that I think only long distance can do.
Yeah.
And then she decided, because she was debating between moving to London and working with her aunt there or going to school here or getting her master's here because she went to college in Germany.
So is that why she asked you in line, London?
Yes,
New York?
London,
Okay.
New York. And I did tell her, I was very adamant, like, do not make this decision based on me. Like, follow, like, what's best for you, your heart, whatever.
Yeah.
And she was like, New York is my favorite city in the world. And I would do anything to live here, not regardless of you, but like,
No,
that would have been
yeah.
my choice either way.
Mhm.
So she started applying to grad programs here and she got into NYU for finance, real estate. She works in finance. Not my forte. I am a psych major. So,
I could see that for you too.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm doing my master's as well. Like right now, doing like a accelerated program, and I cannot wait to be a therapist and yap with future clients.
You're gonna be
I was gonna. You're a really good therapist.
great.
Thank
yeah,
you.
That's amazing.
Thank you guys. But yeah, so we found out she got in, and then she moved here September 2022, and that was the first time, like obviously us both like truly dating, living in the same place, and then. Wow, I'm getting my years like really jumbled right now.
It's okay. I feel like 2020 to 2024 is just like 1 year.
I agree.
Honestly, like
I agree.
How was it living with each other in the beginning?
Oh yeah,
you never really got to do that.
So when she moved here, we weren't living together.
Okay.
I was still, because we were, given our age difference, we were very like cognizant of let's make sure we do everything right. Like let's be healthy. Let's try to not be like rush headfirst into things.
Because like, are really healthy. Because I've never met a couple with your age difference that like takes the time like this.
No, and that's like we were very like no, like I could have moved in with her my sophomore year, and it probably would have been easier in terms of like logistics and everything.
Yeah.
But she's like, no, you need to like still have your college experience, like explore yourself. We need to still be individuals before we like truly merge our lives together. And so I lived in the dorms again my sophomore year. But it was incredible having her here. Like I still spend like every weekend with her. She would literally, God bless her soul, would like sleep in my twin XL bed with me in my dorm with like a crazy like, it was fun those times. Would never do it again, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Moment.
Good memories.
Yes, good memories.
Your wife sounds like an amazing person.
She truly is. She's like has one of the most gentle souls I've ever come across, and is truly just like a golden heart and such a kind, loving person. I'm very lucky.
So let's talk about like when you guys got engaged.
Yeah.
And like when you got married. What was like? Was it a big deal when you guys got engaged, or was it just like?
So it was really special the way we got engaged. I wouldn't say it was like a huge thing. We knew that we wanted to get married at that time, like just for personal circumstances. It like was the right time for us.
Yeah.
And we knew we were going to elope. We still do eventually want to have like a vow renewal or like a big wedding party.
Yeah.
But not for a couple of years. But Thanksgiving, she comes home with me every Thanksgiving to spend it with me and my family. And last Thanksgiving, like I told my parents, like, we're going to get married. And I told my grandma as well. And she was like, do you want my ring? And I was like, oh my gosh, like grandma, like, of course I do. And we have a lot of grandchildren. So I was very honored. And my dad also had a ring that was like my mom's like first engagement ring, and they like eventually upgraded. But he's like, do you want that ring as well? Like we just have it like sitting in a box somewhere. And I was like, well, these are two of the most special rings that we could have possibly had. And so I planned, I was the one that proposed. We drove to Sedona. And I did like the same thing that I did when I asked her to be my girlfriend. I wrote her a letter, and then like how I asked her to be my girlfriend was like, yes or no. Or I think I said yes or yes. I was like, I don't think no was an option. Like, no, you're going to be mine. But I did the same thing. And I like, it was so perfect because I didn't have anyone else to help me, but I was able to like secretly record the whole thing without her knowing. And
I love that you have that.
It was really beautiful. It was really beautiful. But yeah. And then I think it was like, shortest engagement ever. It was like a week later. We freaking went to the courthouse in Tribeca and eloped.
I mean, if you're committing to get married, what's the difference? Some people like to wait. Some people like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, if you are proposing to someone or you're accepting an engagement, like like that. You better fucking
you should,
because I don't think my ex knew. But
don't answer if you don't know.
No, literally.
Exactly.
But,
so yeah.
Okay. So then you went to the courthouse, got married. I saw some of the photos.
Yeah.
Stunning.
So gorgeous.
So
it's been a year. December 1st was our like official 1 year anniversary.
God.
So yeah.
Thank
you.
Sweet.
Thank
So
you.
sweet.
Was it hard, or did you kind of get any backlash or anything from family or friends being so young and getting married?
Not from family, actually. My dad was like, my parents, right when I met her, were like, oh my gosh. And when they met her, they were like, she's incredible. My grandma was like, Katie. My cousin immediately, like the first time, like that first year was like, put a ring on that. And I was like, girl, I know, I will. Don't worry. And I did. But No, like our families were really so supportive. Friends also, like I think because everyone, like all of our friends kind of described us already as like a married couple or like, oh, you guys are gonna get married. Like that's just an obvious. So we didn't face any backlash there. We did when we first started seeing each other, we did face some backlash from social media, even though we were super intentionally not public because I had just come out of like a very public situation and a lot of invasive stuff. And I was like, nope, not doing that anymore. But people still like found out that we were seeing each other and they were really hateful about our age difference. And I would probably describe Alex, my wife, as like more STEM. And I had only previously been with femmes. And the social media base that at least was following me at that time was really mixed, not like sexist, but very hateful towards like non-femmes. So we did face a bit of hate in the beginning with that. And so I'm sure like now I kind of describe myself as off social media. Like I just use it as a kind of normal person and just happen to have like some kind of leftover following from like a time in my life where I was very active in public. But yeah, I think
more peaceful that way.
Absolutely. My mental health has never been better.
I'm next starting January 1st. I'm not going to be like running myself. I can't do it.
It's a lot.
My brain, I just get so hard on myself. I can't. Like, we're done.
The self-criticism, it's intense.
And everybody likes to share their opinion online. Like, I actually didn't ask, but like,
no, I did
posting something. Everyone, I'm allowing people to share.
There wasn't
opinions.
a question
like,
behind that.
Yeah, no, it's so annoying.
What with your previous relationship? What was different in this relationship? And like. A lot.
Everything.
Can you give us a little bit? I mean, we've all had our toxic relationship. Like,
I just listened to your guys' episode on that today.
Yeah,
I was like, that
we've been there.
Great.
We all have that. Like, what? Tell us about that. 'Cause I'm like, you are just so grown, and I feel like such in a healthy place. Like, tell us what your toxic relationship was like.
Yeah, so that was a lot. Well, we met when she was still dating someone, or
love when that
happens. And
so Les.
So Les.
Oh my God.
And first glaring, like from the second we met, she won because I knew like that was a very public relationship. So I knew of both of these people. So we met, she was in a relationship and I was with some other friends that were friends of hers. And we all asked like, oh, how's your relationship going? And she's like, oh, well, we're broken up right now. Like I can't trust her. We're having issues. And I was like, oh, shocker. Cause I thought they were like this perfect, like a couple that I aspired to, like a relationship I aspired to have.
Don't you hate that?
And you know, it's all, you never what you see.
It really
never is.
I always say never trust a fucking relationship online.
Yeah, perfect online relationship is just, there's definitely cheating.
It's definitely not
it's like
perfect.
100% clocked.
Absolutely. And so then we continued like being friends, not really fully friends, obviously crossing those boundaries. And then I got a DM from her girlfriend at the time and she was like, I know everything. And I was like, what do you mean you know everything?
I'm just kidding.
But I was like, what do you mean? And she was like you and this person, like you're talking to my girlfriend. And I was like, I thought you guys weren't together. Like, I am so sorry.
Yeah.
And also I had been lied to because she was like, oh, I'm going to go visit her. But like, it's just for social media. Like it's just for, and I had no clue.
Does it remind me of, we'll talk about later. Yeah. Wait, that's so funny.
No, because I was like,
some people in their patterns. Some
people in their patterns.
Like don't change.
I was like, oh, I'm a baby. Like, I don't know anything. I had like 10K followers on TikTok, like had just come out. And I was like, yeah, no, like you guys just like I don't know. I thought they like made their money from their income. So I was like, bet. And then I was
that
like,
happened to me a few times.
I'm so sorry. Okay, that makes me feel so validated though.
Yeah.
Looking back on it, I was like, wow, was I that naive?
Not with that person, but I've had that happen to me.
We all fall for it.
I'm gonna go see my ex, but don't worry, it's just for socials. I'm like, oh, really? That's so funny because now you guys are back together. The social media post brought you guys back together.
Like, fuck your toxic relationship, but it's that one post. Sorry.
I'm like, I hope the money was worth it.
Truly, I'm like, okay, you guys better like be set for the year now. Okay.
So crazy.
Yeah, and then eventually they ended up actually breaking up, and she ended up coming to visit me.
Okay.
And we actually were only official for like a week, but for about 3 months, she was practically living with me. Like we would spend like 3 weeks at a time at my house. She'd go back home for like a week, come back. And from the start, it was so traumatic. Like this one, people like social media hated me. They were like, you broke up this, like our couple that we're obsessed with and we love, like
That's crazy.
comparing everything about me to her ex, like horrible. Like I was like, oh my gosh, like what am I doing? Like this is insane.
I can already tell you're not that kind of person.
No.
That's really weird, but I'm glad you're able to kind of like share the truth too.
Yeah. And I wasn't perfect by any means. And I was so like lost in all of it. And I was like madly, blindly like in love and falling for like complete love bombing. And like I know like therapy terms are thrown out so much, like gaslighting and love bombing, but I'm like, no, it was like genuinely.
What I've learned, if you are dating a narcissist, like, no, that is gaslighting and love bombing actually happens. Like people can say it all the time, but I'm like, no. When you date a narcissist, you know that happens.
Yeah.
And it's true.
Yeah, it's another level.
Both of our last relationships sound like there was a lot of narcissistic tendencies.
Unfortunately, I like eventually want to pursue my PhD. And while I don't want to like add more fire to the fuel towards the queer community, I would love to focus on why that's so prevalent specifically in like the lesbian
trauma.
community.
It's trauma.
It totally. And I'm
trauma,
like,
it's coming out. It's I think even people, sometimes some women who are like overly masked too. Like that's another thing. I think not for everyone, but I do think sometimes
a lot of
trauma
internal
response.
Yeah.
It's a power thing. And
It's
we
power. Yeah.
even talked about like we had a dominatrix come on and she was like, penetration is not power.
Yeah.
And some people believe that. And I think women as well sometimes. And
that's powerful. Wow.
I know, right?
Put on a shirt.
Yeah, that one I was like, that was a great takeaway.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah.
Not the sex toys. It was penetration's not power. Great takeaway.
Everything was like so good. I was like, that one really stuck with me. That one stuck.
The social media was insane. And we were like almost overcompensating for that by like posting a ton.
Yeah.
And it was just getting so messy. Like the fans were insane. And I definitely in the beginning got like the runt of the hate. Again, like deemed as like the other woman who like came and destroyed this relationship. And then in terms of our actual like us as people, truly like I think the first like really insane thing that happened was I had found out that my like childhood dog had a brain tumor and like we didn't know like what was going to happen. Like he could have a week, could have a couple months. We didn't know. So I'm distraught, like absolutely down bad. And we would FaceTime like every single night, even if she was going out, like she'd be on the phone with me, whatever. And this one night I'm like sobbing on the foot of my parents' bed. And I was like, I can't talk right now. I'm sorry. Like I just found out my dog is like gonna die. And she was like, well, we should just be friends.
Like,
thank you so much. You're so considerate. You piece
like,
of shit.
Wow. Okay.
Literally piece of shit.
Okay, but and
I would have cried.
No, it was like you guys mentioned in one of your previous episodes, like the dopamine hit, like the up and down, like it, like when you are hit with love bombing and then that's taken away, and it's like this, it's sprinkled back in. You totally it feels so intense, and those good moments feel so much better than they are.
Grab on for the good moments.
Truly. And I just totally like excused so much during that time. And also, she was like the first girl that I had like really, really been with intimately. And again, baby gay, didn't have experience. And she was like sexually and physically abusive. And
wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
You know what? It's okay. It happens. It's not okay.
It's not
okay.
Especially when you're really young, like going through that, it messes with your head.
You like that? Ugh.
Or like you think that maybe this is the right way or this is how relationships are.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know about you, but I didn't have a good example of a healthy relationship growing up, relationship period. And so I had my fair share of really toxic relationships because I didn't know what to like look for. I feel like you had somewhat of a I feel like you had a good example, but did you?
I did. My parents, I mean, obviously not like no family's perfect, and there were a lot of things that I very much want to avoid repeating, but I did for the most part have a pretty good example.
Yeah.
but I definitely take after my dad has a very big like savior complex. Like he's incredible, but he wants to like literally help and save everyone. And I definitely adapted that. And so I saw my ex as someone that I could help. Like I truly was like, oh, I can save you. And I had also gone through a lot of like mental health struggles early in high school and had gone to treatment for them.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, I felt so like prepared, or like I was like, oh, I can give all my knowledge and like, I can truly help so many people, which like at the right time.
Want to be a
therapist. Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah. So
part of it, I think too.
Kind of overlines, but so I was just like, no, like I can fix her.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't take me until after we ended for me to realize that I was like, whoa, shit, I was like totally being abused in that relationship. Because it looked different than, it wasn't like outright, her like hitting me, but it would be like biting me really fucking hard when we were like play fighting, or like me constantly being covered in bruises and thinking like, oh, like
just taking it to another level.
Yeah. And this also wasn't just resulting from like being in bed. It was like outside circumstances. And
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
It was a mind fuck. And
it's just really like immature. Like, when you like have a crush on someone and like they say that like, oh, if you're like
yeah, it's like when boys are like mean to girls if they like them. I'm like, let's not perpetuate that.
Yeah.
Maybe that person's like just a little stunted.
Yeah. So that was intense.
I don't know why the way you said that. I don't know. It just made me laugh.
That's a good way to put it.
I think they're a little stunted in their growth.
I agree.
Okay.
And yeah, so that was insane. And another thing too is that like I grew up doing competitive dance and have not always had the healthiest relationship with food and my body.
Mm-hmm.
However, I like in the span of us being together for 3 months, I like literally dropped 30 pounds. Without trying either. Like it was not intentional. I was just so in fight or flight, and I think so anxious that I could not like stomach eating.
Oh
and
God.
That was also something that I really wasn't aware of until like some loved ones or people that hadn't seen me like in a while were like, holy shit, are you okay? Like I looked so sick during that time and just like not myself. So yeah, that was rough. She ended up getting back with her ex. There was so much cheating going on in between the typical, stuff. And the social media again was just like that made it 10 times harder as well.
100%.
We eventually, there was still a lot of back and forth after they got back together. And then I actually ended up meeting her ex-girlfriend on my 18th birthday because she had reached out to me and said like, hey, I think we should finally talk. And I was like, yeah, okay, like bet. And
had to be
talked.
On your birthday.
Literally on my 18th birthday, I was like,
you couldn't wait a day. Like okay.
My online econ class. I'm like, okay, sure. And then we just totally found out that we were both being like so completely played and lied to. And then after that happened in a kind of scandalous social media moment, my ex ended up going to treatment herself. So I was really happy at the time.
That's
I was
great.
like, oh my gosh,
so
this was
great.
all I wanted.
Yeah.
At that point though, my parents, I had like told them everything because they did not know everything.
Yeah.
They knew it was not healthy.
Yeah.
And my dad was very much like, if you speak to her again, like I will not pay for you to go to college.
Yeah.
Like that's it. And at first I was like, defensive, like what the heck? Looking back, I'm like, that was the greatest thing you ever could have done for me.
That was a great dad move.
Yeah. Yeah. And because shout out.
That was a really good dad
He
move.
is my rock. And actually meeting like her other ex, the girl that I was cheated on with, truly is what saved me because I saw her as someone who was in a much more vulnerable position than I was, and lacked a lot of, I think, the mental health support that I had in my life. And so seeing her be hurt in the same way I was like, fuck no, like this is not okay. And I cannot go back to this. And she can't go through this again either. And so it was not the healthiest thing, but we trauma bonded for sure and helped each other out of like such a dark, dark place. And then we ended up dating. So it was a little love triangle,
Plot twist.
As one does.
No way.
Wait,
yeah.
What was that relationship like?
It was so like we're so close. I have so much love for her.
Good.
We were so should not have dated. It was absolutely founded on a trauma bond, but it was in a way very healing because we were so obviously had been traumatized by the same person. And we're trying so hard to like heal those wounds for each other. And it was like, I always describe her as like someone who feels like a childhood best friend. Like she's just like so, and like kind of like my little sister in a way. We're the same age, but like she feels like a little sister to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was, and again with the social media part, also insane. But I think the hardest.
I bet. I mean, it was just
like it was a lot. It was a lot. The hardest part of that though was my parents ended up moving to the same city that the other ex lived in, like 15 minutes away from each other, right after we had ended.
You're like.
I was like, great. Thank you guys.
You didn't want me to see her anymore, but we decided to let her move right down the street.
You cannot make this shit up.
Do you ever run to your ex?
No. We did actually my like 2 years ago quite a bit because her ex-girlfriend, I think, lives in New York.
Oh, okay.
And so we ended up seeing each other quite a bit for a short period of time.
Was it weird or was it like?
Yeah, because I basically, the day I blocked her, I never unblocked her on anything like Twitter. And it wasn't even out of malice. It was basically like, you will never have access to my life ever again. And she was also still very adamant the summer before I went to college on like trying to get me back. Like showed up to my house a couple of times, dropping off gifts and stuff like that. And publicly on social media doing that. So that was a lot. And that was still, because at that point, like I was very aware of what I had been through, but I was still healing from that heartbreak. And it was like the first girl I was in love with. So that was truly a mind fuck.
Yeah.
But again, like dating her other ex-girlfriend in a weird way was really healing. But then finally when I got to college, my other ex, the good one, I'll say the healthy one, love her, bestie.
Yeah.
I love it.
She, then all the mental health stuff really hit her at once. And I was like, okay, I know now I'm not possible. I'm not your savior. Like I don't have the capability to save anyone but myself.
Yeah.
So I did what I could, but that's when I was like, you know what? I need to live my life. And then bing, met my wife.
There you fucking go. That's how it happened.
Yeah.
Least expect it. But now you're with your wife.
Yes.
Are you like, what's next? Are you guys going to want to start a family? Are you going to take your time? I mean, you are so young, which I always say age doesn't matter. But like, have you had these talks? What's the next step?
So we definitely want kids. I have always wanted to be a mom. However, we're probably going to wait at least 8 years to do so, just because right now she works in finance, which is like really intense hours, really grueling right now at the point in her career. And I'm also have kind of an insane schedule. And I still have like a year and a half till I graduate and like start actually being a therapist. So we want just like plenty of time to get our careers established, travel, like live our lives, you know, fully get to experience everything we can as a couple before we bring kids into the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, though, definitely, absolutely cannot wait to have babies with her. But not for a little bit.
That's
Not
so
for a little
exciting.
bit.
Carrie? Or does she?
We both want to carry. I think she'll probably carry the first just because she is older.
Okay.
And then I'm really set on having 3 kids. I think that's such a perfect number. I did always want 4, but then I'm like, you know what? In this economic state and also like 4, that's a lot. And I want to give people love.
I
Three's
cannot.
perfect.
I feel like
I was
I
a
can't
family of 3.
fathom.
Okay.
3 girls.
I
It was
lo-
a lot. My dad.
Wait, I love that 3 girls. That's incredible.
Yeah, they're cute.
Sister.
They're so
Oh, I
cute.
love that.
Okay, it wouldn't be for the femmes if we didn't ask some juicy questions.
I know. A little, we got to sprinkle a little one, two. in
Spice.
there.
Do you have like a favorite like sex position or sex toy?
Yeah.
Give us the juice.
Give us
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Okay. We really do love, me personally, hibachi wands. Do you guys know what it's a vibrator, but it's like the like wands that are
The
they
magic
usually
wand.
plug in.
The white
You guys-
guy.
I call them. Is it white?
Is it, it depends. They can, I think actually
They probably come in different colors.
Yeah.
But I call all, I say it every time. All my sex toys I go by the colors. So mine's white, and I literally live and die.
Like
tell
that
you
one?
the best.
Yes, ours is pink.
Why do you have that right there?
Because I posted it on my story.
That's
Not you,
incredible.
like, knowing exactly.
No,
where
not
that
you
is.
exactly like,
like,
yeah, this. I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's one.
It's
Yeah.
the best one. Everyone like.
It's a
needs
good
to
one.
get
it's incredible.
I don't care.
It's under my pillow every night.
It's incredible.
You roll over. It's
So just like,
by
like
accident.
in the nightstand drawer.
Exactly.
Oh no, ours are all in a
box,
like dresser next to our bed. So
That's when you get into a relationship. It goes in a dresser or box.
Yeah.
when no, when you're on your own,
yeah.
it's like a box.
When you're on your own, they're everywhere.
There's
yeah, no,
like,
truly.
people can't walk in my house without being. Just,
No, yeah, I'm like, no one will go in my room.
I mean, yeah, that's my favorite. for
Love.
sure.
We do love her. Love a good strap. Always.
Always.
Both of us.
Love.
And position. Oh, and also we haven't tried this yet. We've both been wanting to, but like the rose toy. Neither one of us have ever.
I have used it.
The vibrator.
Yeah.
Looks like I've never used it, but I've seen it.
Because
Because
like
it literally looks like a rose kind of.
yeah,
Oh, pretty.
all of our friends have always raved about them, and we're like,
It's rose.
you
I
know,
love a pretty vibrator.
No one get me flowers. Get me the rose toy.
Lesbian gift.
I know. I
love
Instead
that.
of flowers at you, it's fucking rose vibrator.
So funny. Well, I think to close it up,
Mhm.
we should talk a little bit about like, do you have a favorite ick or like a red
Oh,
flag?
a lot.
I have to look at my list.
I know. It also doesn't have to be in relationships. I like
Yeah,
that.
just
Could be
like in
anything that
general.
you're like, oh, that like really
Mm.
turns me off.
I'm sorry if you ever participate, can't get with SantaCon, and especially a male that decides. I always hate on guys, and the worst part is I'm actually bi, and I swear to God, people probably think this is like an anti like fucking men podcast, but like just a man going out, spending money to get a Santa suit and going out in the bars is just, and it's also my nightmare. Like when it's SantaCon, I don't leave the house because it's like everywhere. I hate it.
I feel like you've gone.
I absolutely have.
Oh my God, I feel so now. I feel like
I love SantaCon energy.
Do you want to know? She's dying because you want to know what we're doing tomorrow? We're going to SantaCon.
I knew it.
what do you guys dress as? Like,
But we like, well, so like last year, I think she wore like a onesie or something. Like a
everyone
pajama
wears
onesie.
Santa.
And I just wore like a Santa hat and then like a normal outfit.
Okay.
This year we're being kind of like cute and like sexy. We got like not like a cape, but like a Santa like
I feel like
thing and like no.
I
Oh my
knew-
gosh,
I should've
don't
crossed
no
this.
because men specifically. I will
No,
say
it's more men.
I get icked out when I see the Santa men on the
Girls
streets.
can do whatever. I'm like,
No.
it's fine. They get it.
But no, no, because my first year, I was like, I'm icked out by this, and I stayed inside as well, avoiding it. And then my last year, I was living with 4 girls in an apartment, and they're like, "We're going to SantaCon," and I was like, "Well, I can't. Like, you guys
Not
are going.
go,
Like, I have to go."
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Well, shoot, this is gonna be fine." It's
if I'm going, I'm
stupid.
looking
It's
like a
absolutely
slut. That's all.
stupid.
Get me like a Santa.
20 degrees.
Santa
You
lunch
can't
break.
look like a slut.
I don't.
Oh yeah, no,
A hoe never gets cold, baby.
alcohol blanket. Alcohol
I'm
blanket.
freezing all the time. I'm anemic. Okay.
That's rough. And in New York City winters, that's
I know,
rough.
I hate it.
That's rough.
I think it's really weird with people who like licorice. Black licorice. I'm like,
Oh, black
you're
licorice,
like
yeah.
an American psycho.
You know what?
That's
That is
weird.
That, and I hate licorice either. No matter what kind, I really do hate it. So I
I
feel
think
that.
it's like so weird. I'm like, if you like that taste, you like that.
I like red. I like
That's
the red-
different.
I like the Twizzler. No, the black is
different.
kind of
black licorice.
Black.
is
Do you like red
concerning.
vines?
No, red vines are the worst. They taste
Right?
like plastic. I
Okay.
like Twizzlers.
Okay.
And
Twizzlers I
anyone
can
can
get
fight on
behind.
me that Twizzlers 10 times better than fucking red vines. Red vines is gross.
They are gross. They're
And I will
waxy.
judge you. if you
Yeah.
eat those.
Whoa.
Waxy.
And another ick I have, I was watching The Ultimatum on Netflix. And like they were so like awkward. And so they were trying to like break the ice. And the girl and the guy were doing the chubby bunny challenge. I was like, if I ever saw a guy do the chubby bunny challenge in front of me, I would be like, get that shit out of your mouth.
Were they on a
Like,
date?
that's
I'm
so
so
weird.
confused.
Yeah, they were like on a date. They like picked each other as their like trial marriage. And then they're like sitting by the fire doing the chubby bunny challenge, thinking it's the funniest thing in the world. I'm like, I would be like, don't do that.
No, that's
Especially
really
like
icky.
early on too. Imagine. Like, no. That's so
No,
weird.
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Ugh. I'm trying to think. Most of my icks that are coming to mind specifically pertain to men.
Usually, unfortunately,
Actually,
I'm
it does.
sorry.
I'm
Like,
sorry, everyone.
honestly, I feel bad but I just think there are certain things that women can do that men like just look a little funny doing.
I agree. And like, for example, like even like pet names and nicknames, like even like with my best friends, all of that, I'm like, yes, I love if a man at a bar tries to say like babe, baby, honey, sweetheart, like really pisses me off. Just like, especially I'm like, if you know I'm gay and I'm like, hey, married, gay.
Yeah.
And they still like, I mean, obviously that's just always an ick.
That's so funny.
No, it's so true.
And chewing gum loudly. That goes for men or women. I despise that.
The
smacking
is like
I can't do
very
that.
weird. I know. Yeah. So what do you think about Pookie and Jet? If you don't like the pet name.
They're so different though. They get a pass.
They do get a pass. And or like I love them. You guys watch The Bachelor?
No.
That's okay. And The Bachelor can be full of so many icks.
Yeah.
But
I could see
and absolutely cringy. But like Joey and Kelsey, the most recent Bachelor and like his fiance, they like do it in a very like funny, satirical way. And that I'm like, okay, that's funny and like entertaining. But when guys, I think, try to do it very genuinely, especially if it's not like a long-term partner, I'm like, what are you doing? Don't do that.
I agree. Also, I think like if someone was filming me dating, I would get so cringe. Or,
I can't.
Someone filming me make out.
It's no like make out. I cannot have a camera be that close. And like I don't know what angle they're coming at. They can be coming at a crazy angle. We all have our angles, you guys. I would die.
No, I would die.
No, it's I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't know how people do that.
I agree.
Horrifying. What's your Instagram?
Oh yeah. Where can we find you?
Instagram. I'm probably the most active, even though I'm still not very active. I'm working on it because I would love to somewhat get back into it in a more healthy space. And also when I do have the time, because it is like really fucking time consuming. But Instagram is just my name, Katie Hope Brown.
Okay.
Yeah. And TikTok. I think it's just, I think it's just Katie Brown. I couldn't really tell you. But yeah, it was so fun being on here, guys. Thank you for having me.
Coming on.
Yeah.
Of course.
I loved hearing about your story.
I know, your story is so good.
I'm like, I could listen for another 3 hours.
I know there's some juicy stuff.
I know, right?
The lore goes insane.
I get it.
Well, that is it. Thank you guys for listening. Oh wait, also if you guys like me and Faithlyn's cozy, it's Garage's Lounge and it's so comfy and we're obsessed.
Like I'm buying every color.
No, I think Faithlyn bought like 17 colors.
No, literally, I'm like, wait, and we were both like, "What are you wearing?" Garage.
I was like, okay,
yep,
of course.
Yep.
Garage
I love this so good.
Love. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.